The thing about a good vocal performance is that it can turn a song with the most simplistic lyrical content and give it this new depth and meaning and move you in such a unique way. And I think that's exactly what Faouzia does on this song because I love her lyricism. But R.I.P. Love is one of those songs that if you listen to, you can figure out what this song is trying to say, but it is the beauty of her voice and how she uses it in certain parts to emphasize these little moments that really make R.I.P. song, yeesh, R.I.P. a song worth listening to. R.I.P. Love. Oh gosh. Anyways, welcome back, human beings who find their way onto the internet. Welcome to a world with no end. Welcome if you're a returning listener. Welcome if you're somebody new. I have overused the word welcome. I am your host, Alan, and welcome to episode point 5 of what I am going to be calling the Citizen Series. Before we get into it, what is the Citizen Series? Citizen Series refers to... Did I want to call it the Citizen Series or the Citizen Dive? Let's go with Citizen Dive. The Citizen Dive is where I, as an over enthusiastic human being, am going to be going through the 8 songs that are on the body of work known as Citizens by Faouzia. It came out, I think, on the 19th of May of last year, and it's a very beautiful sound body of work that I think conveys an amazing story. But then again, that's just me. But what I'm going to attempt to do in this series is go through each and every song and discuss it and the emotions that it conveys to me as a person, and maybe dig into the vocal nerd side of me and explain what I feel vocally and how the vocals impact the lyrics, and how I feel Citizens tells this very broad story of stages and cycles of love, whether that be romantic love or platonic love, whatever love quotes exist, it tells of different cycles and different perspectives of it. And yeah, that is me over explaining this intro, and yeah, let's get into R.I.P. Love. So this is episode point 5 because this is literally experimentation. Disclaimer, I am not any sort of literary genius. A lot of the things that I learned in literature have gone out of my head, so these are going to be very instinctual opinions about how I feel about every, everything that's in the song. So it's very instinctual. There's no in-depth analysis that happened here. Disclaimer number 2, these are my opinions, okay? And you are allowed to disagree with my opinions, but you're allowed to disagree with them in a respectful way. Number 3, I probably will not use the audio of the song on this particular video or this particular episode, for the sole reason being I was too lazy to read YouTube's guidelines when it comes to using audio content, yada yada yada, wada wada wada, which is very weird because I'm a law student and I'm supposed to be the type of person who reads the fine print and go through all those terms and conditions. I will do that later for the rest of the series, but for now you're going to hear me read out lyrics and maybe sing terribly while I'm going through this entire process. So, for whatever suffering you are about to endure because of me, I do apologize. So let's get into it. R.I.P. Love, the first song on Citizens, opens up. Oh no, I think I did it again, and it kills me to see you like this. I should have known from the moment we'd met that I rip your heart right out of your chest. So this is, from the way I see it, the perspective of someone who is in a relationship of sorts, or whatever you want it to be, a friendship, a relationship, whatever you want it to be, where from the onset you saw that this wasn't going to work, and that it was better off if you kept your distance from this person, because you could tell the intrigue that this person had with you. They were really interested. They really wanted to have this friendship with you. They really wanted to have a connection with you. But to you, that connection could never be. And you foresaw yourself hurting them because you were not ready to be in any kind of scenario that involved them as a person. So, yes, it's this moment of, oh, I did it again. I lured you in with what you perceive to be my personality, what you perceive to be my energy. That lured you in. And I hate seeing you like this because I have done this with other people before. Like, I am not ready to be in a friendship with certain people or to be in relationships with people. I am not at that point where I can do all of that. And it hurts me to see you like this because it's a cycle repeating, and I don't like watching the cycle repeat. And I should have known from the moment we met that this would end this way because it's a cycle that has happened before. I should know how this ends, and I should have never let it happen. That I'd rip your heart right off. That's a very, 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 very blatantly, obvious lyric. I would rip your heart right out. I would hurt you. Okay. Let me move into the pre-chorus. Swore I'd learn from the last time. Dressed in black, I swear I lied. Warned you, God knows that I tried. I told you. So this is one of those things where I think all of us tell ourselves this at the end of certain friendships, at the end of certain relationships, at the parting of ways with certain people. We tell ourselves, you know what, these are the lessons that I have learned and I should never do this again. Except we somehow always do it again. Whether we want to or not, we somehow always do it again. Dressed in black, I swear I lied. I think dressed in black alludes to the whole imagery of a funeral and death and so forth, because it is in the title R.I.P, the death of love. I swear I lied. So I swore I learned from the last time, but I lied. I thought I had learned, but that was a lie. I was telling myself that I had learned, that this was never going to happen again. I warned you, God knows that I tried. I think in some ways, when we are about to hurt people, or we think we're going to hurt people, or when people think they're going to hurt us, they try to leave us these cues, these signals that this is what you are in store for. Sometimes they blatantly tell you upfront that, you know what, I know you like me right now, but at some point you are going to despise me. And sometimes people put it in their behavior, like not responding to text messages, not answering your calls when you're like in crises, giving you very cold responses. This is not to say that everyone who behaves like this is, showing you that they're about to end whatever relationship you have with them. But it is to say that I do believe people, whether consciously or unconsciously, they try to warn you of what you are about to get into with them. And this I told you line is like, well, I did try to tell you. You are here in this scenario with me now, but I did try to tell you. And yeah. Then we move into the chorus. Man down, no another one down for me. Said you die for love, but I never loved you, sorry. So long you're gone, it hurts to see. Said you die for love, so now R.I.P. love. So man down, no another one down for me. Very, very, very self-explanatory. It's like, oh, so another one has fallen into the trap of me. And I think, there are times where you're like, oh, wait, I was just being nice to this person, but now it's here. It has escalated here. Like, well, dang, it was not supposed to get this far. So that is basically what's being said there. You said you die for love, but I never loved you, sorry. Like, yeah, you were there willing to give your everything to me, but I never wanted that everything in the first place. We were not supposed to get this far. So I know you said you would, but I never cared in the first place. Is the sort of underlying message here is like, hey, buddy, I know, but at the same time, I didn't ask for any of this from you. Okay. So long you're gone, it hurts to see. Like, it's sad to see you go because in a different life, under different circumstances, this could have worked. It's sad to have to see you go, and now you're gone. It's sad, but it had to happen though. Said you die for love, so now R.I.P. love. So you were out here ready to give your all to me, and that's fine, but this has to end now. So let the love that you had for me rest in peace, is what the chorus is basically saying. At least that's the way I've always interpreted the chorus. So then we have the second verse. When I lay in my bed at night, I remember the way that you cried, but I can't go back. No, I know it's too late, and it haunts me every day. So I think this part is one of those moments that a lot of people have where, I mean, you cut off somebody and you let them go, but as you grow as a person, you realize the value that they could have added to your life. So you look back and you're like, so I'm looking back on past memories now, and I'm remembering the way that I hurt you and all that could have been. But at this point, while I'm thinking about it, it's now late. And this is the part where the vocal performance really comes in, because like, and I'm reading these lyrics, but when you hear them, when they're being sung, it's this build on the word late. I wonder if I should embarrass myself by singing. No, but I can try to like create the ambience. So it's like, when I lay in my bed at night, I remember the way that you cry, but I can't go back. No, I know it's too late. See, it's much more intense than that, and me, I'm trying to be palatable because I do not want to murder your ears. But there's this build. It's like, it's not just late. It's like lay. It gets louder. It gets more belty. Belty is one of those fancy terms that we use in singing for singing with more of a chest dominant approach. I'm now being a vocal nerd. I'm confusing you. Basically, it's what people do when they hit those really powerful high notes that sound like really dramatic. Yes. So on that too late part, it builds, it becomes more belt oriented. It's like, emphasis on the fact that it's late. It's too late for me to be thinking about it. And that's the power of good vocal performance. This whole song, like I said in my little preview in the beginning before the intro, a good vocal performance can make songs that are seemingly easy to interpret have much deeper meaning. So it's the softness, then the emphasis with more chest dominant notes, and it just makes you feel a lot of things. So you're now sitting back and recalling all of this, but realizing at the same time that it's too late for you to be having this level of reminiscence, because this person has moved on. Because I think a fault of us human beings is that we think that people will be hung up on us forever. People will not be hung up on us forever. People move on at some point. And when you're sitting there thinking back and you're like, oh, this, it's late, it's over. I know from experience, there's this person who I could have had a really great relationship with, romantically speaking, but at the time, I could not act on my own impulses and say, you know what, I like you, let's do this. At that time, we could have had a good relationship. Then time progressed, and I tried to go back, and they were uninterested, not in the slightest. So people move on, and we think people are going to be hung up on us forever. People move on. So by the time you start putting the pieces in your head back together, I'm like, but you know what? With this person, it could have It could have, but it can't. It's too late. The time has passed. So yeah, and it haunts me every day. So it won't literally haunt you every day, but for the time that you're in that moment of reminiscence, it really does affect you when you're thinking about, oh, I really could have done better in this situation. I really could have made something of this situation, but I didn't. And now I'm here. And the suffering is with me now and not the person who I hurt. Then we go back to, the pre-chorus and the chorus, the whole. So what I learned from the last time. I think the pre-chorus takes on a different meaning after the second verse, because now it's like you swore you'd learned your lesson from all of this reminiscence to now take opportunities as they come to do better and so forth. But you're not doing better. You're still repeating the cycle that is within the first verse and the first interpretation of the pre-chorus and the first interpretation of the chorus. You're still repeating all of those cycles. And I think in the second pre-chorus, in as much as it's the same lyrical content, it takes on a slightly different meaning, because verse 2 is more on a perspective of self-reflection compared to verse 1, which is this outward analysis of the situation. Verse 2 is a reflection inwards, verse 1 is a reflection outwards of the situation. But the interpretation of the chorus remains the same. You still get people to be drawn to you, and you don't want that to happen because you're not ready for it. Even though you should have learned how to be ready for it, even though you should have learned from the previous cycles, you are here right now repeating the same cycles. And then of course there's the vocal performance aspect to it. This is why you should listen to the song, because I'm not going to be singing the song, and probably later in the series I'll just play the bits and pieces that I want you to hear for me to properly explain how. If I start properly explaining this using actual vocals, I will become a true nerd. I kid you not. But yes, this has been episode 0.5 of the Citizens Dive. Yes, I am sticking to Citizens Dive. Next, we're going to look at, I think, the next 3 songs or the next 2, because if I treat each song the way I treated R.I.P. Love, then it's going to be progressively longer, and I'm probably going to have to really narrow down all of my opinions. But I'm going to try to do the next 3 or the next 2 songs. That will end up just doing song by song by song. Each song gets its own episode, so that I can ramble freely and unhindered, knowing that at least I'm only dealing with one thing. I still haven't figured out the nitty-gritties of how I'm going to make this series work, but yes, for an experimental episode, I think this works. Thank you for listening to me ramble about a song for 18 minutes. And I hope to see you next time. Whether I'm coming back with the Citizens Dive or I'm coming back with something else, I don't know, but I hope to see you next time.